is God.
This is God.
What was he wearing? Well, he was wearing a red argyle sweater and tan trousers and red shoes. No, he's not retarded.
Welcome back. You know who it is. You know it at number one spirit radio station up here. Hey, we gotta get on. All right. Yeah, this one's going out to my, this one's going out to the dudes. This one's going out to the ladies. Hey, sometimes you gotta take a back seat here, ladies. It's not all about you, ladies. No, this one's for the dudes, and I hope you like this one, my dudes and my lords and lads. So, ladies, sometimes you have to wait your turn. I know it's difficult, but you have to be patient. All right, here it is. Let's get on with it. So this is part 2. Cara, Xana's biological mom. This is her clean interview. You will see, you've seen this before. Contrast. Let's see how her thought process has changed. This is course after Brian's capture. This is, he, in her mind, he's the guy. So I'm curious to see how her answers are different now compared to in the very beginning when I think her instincts were extremely 100% spot on. This is somebody that they were close to, or, people that did this. Yes, they were close to them, of course, right? So on and so on. So I want to see how her thought process has changed. Once the lone wolf was thrust here into the spotlight, and so let's check it out. This is Xana. This is the ties that bind, right? Looking at the families. Let's go.
Time to talk with me today. I know this has not been an easy journey over the last couple of years, and there has been constant media attention. Most recently, Brian Kohberger taking a plea deal, and in the midst of this, losing your daughter, and again having so much public attention.
After the plea,
I want to get into your faith and into your journey and what this has been like. But I want to first start by talking about this plea deal. What was your initial reaction to it?
I was shocked. Mm-hmm. I was actually up camping with
you were all
with our church, so we didn't have cell service. I had got the information because a friend of mine had gone up the mountain to check his messages where he could get a signal, and him and his wife had told me when he got back to our camp, and
oh my!
I was just very shocked and confused.
Yes.
Because here we had this man who was proclaiming his innocence this whole time. So there's been a lot of questions surrounding the case this whole time.
Mm-hmm. True.
A lot of unanswered questions.
Mm-hmm.
Just
a million of them.
It's been very confusing, and that alone I know is not of the Lord. So it's been very hard for me to just focus on the Lord, but I have. But when I found out, my initial reaction was a little bit angry, because I just felt like it was just too easy for him to just admit that he did it and not have to give an explanation or answer our questions.
Agree.
And here we have been planning on going to this trial.
Yeah.
And that's not something you look forward to.
Yeah.
But I think that all of us were
well, not all of you,
wanting answers.
Not the Chapins.
So the trial maybe
Chapins didn't care.
Answer
Chapins didn't
questions.
Care. Let's just keep that in mind. Chapins didn't care. Stacy didn't care.
And so not.
She wanted to go to CrimeCon.
You feel kind of.
And sell a fucking book.
Yeah.
So that was my initial reaction. But I know that the Lord had me right where I should be, around my church family, and my pastor was up there. One of my pastors, John Padula, was up there, and him and his wife came around me and prayed for me. And my church family was able to pray over me. And the Lord is just so good in helping me to understand that it's okay that I don't know everything.
Please, God. Yes. Yes, God.
Is for my protection. So
Sorry, guys.
I may never know all the answers that I want.
What?
I may never
what
know.
are they?
And I know now that that is God's protection, and that even if I were to know why he did it or all the details, what is it going to change? Is it going to make me feel better? No.
I'd want to know. Just saying.
There's not. It's a senseless.
Because it doesn't make any sense.
Senseless crime.
It is.
To take my beautiful daughter's life
It is.
and her friends.
Well, that's true. Well, that's right. So that again, these people, I don't understand the thought process with these people in Idaho, Moscow, and right. Hey, Steve G set this precedent up when he started bashing the East Coast, right? So he set that standard. So this is called reflecting it right on fucking back to them, all right? These people. So yes, it's a senseless crime. And because it's a senseless crime, you want to try to make sense of it. And part of making sense of that is to try to understand how he did it, why he did it, how he did it in 8.5 minutes, how he kills 4 people in let's say 8 to 10 minutes, whatever. Why there's at least a partial cleanup of the crime scene. So it's senseless. You're absolutely right, because Moscow police made it that way. Bill Thompson made it that way. And so if I was one of the families here, yes, make it make sense. Moscow police, Idaho State Police on the Palouse. All these p sounds that sound like pigs, corruption.
The more information we find out, the more questions we have. And
that's right. Why is that, Mom?
There's never going to be a good enough reason for why it happened. There's never going to be a good reason.
That's not a good answer.
So
that's not a good answer.
Nope. I believe that.
Not a good answer.
If we are supposed to know, we will know.
That's not a good answer, because I could say to myself, that's not a good answer, because then you have to say to yourself, well, the jury probably would have had the same questions. You know, if nobody can figure it out, including the prosecution and including the Moscow Police Department, well, gee, I wonder if the jury was going to figure it out. And that's another reason why I should have went to trial. Nobody seems to have a clear understanding of what happened in this case. And that's why it should have went to trial. And that's why the defense had a very strong case. And that's, again, another reason why everything got messed up somewhere around May. May, maybe April-ish, is when this plea shenanigan stuff started taking shape. It was around April, May. It's when this shit started. The framework for this plea deal started somewhere in my mind around May. And so, anyway, let's carry on.
I mean, the way that you spoke about this in other interviews, you know, seeing the blessing in the midst of that, right? Coming to a place of understanding that protection you just talked about. You know, as a parent, I can't imagine what you've been through, right? But what you're saying is so true. It doesn't change the end result. But if you are meant to know that, you know, God will reveal that to you. You will find out.
How is he going to fucking reveal it to you?
How have you...
Through the cards?
How have you navigated... I mean, you talked about your faith and being with your church community. This is God. When this news came down recently. When you go back to when this first happened, where was your faith then? Where is your faith now? How has it sustained you through the unthinkable?
I mean, when it happened, I was in a bad place.
You were.
And bad went to worse after it happened.
Yes.
I wish I could say that was my aha moment, that is when I ran towards Christ, but but I ran towards drugs and alcohol instead, and ended up getting to a place where I knew that I was either going to die living the way that I was,
right,
or I could draw close to Jesus and surrender and change my life, and hopefully be able to show others Christ through this trauma that I've experienced, and
through your testimony, through your testimonial. Is that what they call them? Testimonials?
But I can't say enough how much the Lord has changed my life and how much peace He has given me.
Good for you.
Through all of this.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
It's a constant.
It's wonderful.
It's a constant battle. We battle against
good and evil.
Not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual
warfare
powers, spiritual wickedness. So when you really look at that and understand
angels and demons,
this is a spiritual battle we're fighting. It really helps.
Ephesians 6, right? It tells us right in Ephesians 6. Yeah,
the armor of God, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I ask you how long? So when Xana died, how long was it after that? You talked about going to this dark place that you did start running towards Jesus, and what was it that caused you to make that change? Because I think it's understandable that you would struggle in that way after such a horrific incident. But what was the time frame there? How long was it before you did find Christ?
Yeah. How long?
I think it was about a year, a little over a year.
Oh, a year. That's not long.
And I was arrested.
Yeah.
And
that's what you.
Spend time in jail for 10 months.
Oh. I'm sorry.
And after that,
so that helps speed along the process. It's just saying.
I actually turned my life over to the Lord in a jail cell.
Well, that's a lot of people do that.
But
yeah, they do.
I can't explain it.
Once I did that, it was like I was free. Your access to substances was severely limited at that point. So, just saying.
I was just filled with such joy and peace when I finally surrendered to God and decided that I was going to fully surrender and do it His way and not mine anymore. So I have a friend, Pastor Tim Remington, who has a faith-based recovery here in town in Coeur d'Alene, and I've known him for about 20 years.
Hey, where's the Hobbit? Bethany, you in here? Stay away from me, I'm trying to... I just want to go home for Thanksgiving, leave me alone. Oh, I'm sorry, Hobbit. Well, here's the problem. You can't go home for Thanksgiving. You can't. I just want to go home for Thanksgiving. Just please let me go home. Oh, no. See, here's what I got for you. See this lasso? This is a lasso. And see, I'm gonna use this here. See, it's also made of metal. See that? It's made of metal. And so, why don't you just hold still? Just hold still and... Stay away from me, oh my God, Thanksgiving, I want to go home. Shut up.
Ago, him and his wife and his family are just wonderful people, and they just have a true heart for the Lord and for helping people in recovery, getting out of addiction. So I contacted Pastor and asked him to be able to go through the program again. So when I was released, I went through his program, and it was 3 months. And he has a ranch house out in the country where basically it's just a beautiful program where you are fed the word from sun up to sundown, every day and with no distractions.
Wow.
So that was huge.
Called
for my
programming.
healing, for me to come to a place of healing and to begin forgiving.
Okay.
And so it's been 18 months now. I've been completely sober. I do not smoke cigarettes. I don't take medication. I am
Thank
completely
God.
free of
Wow.
every bondage through Christ. And there's just no other answer for that except for Jesus.
Wow. I didn't know all of this about your backstory, right? When I reached out to you and we talked about doing this interview, I didn't know all of those struggles. I knew that you had been on a national stage because of what had happened to your daughter and this horrific story and that backdrop of everything you were going through, just to sort of ask you, before Xana's death, before these murders, were you struggling? Were these things, it sounds like that these were things that you did struggle with at different points throughout your life. And were you in the faith before in any way? Were you going to church, even though you were in those struggles before all of this? What was your spiritual life like beforehand?
It wasn't very good. I was raised in church, but I had fallen away from the Lord for many years and chose to live in my own way. So I had my ups and downs where I went to church and thought I was doing good, but I was always holding on to something of the world. I was never completely surrendering to the Lord. And I really believe that it just has to come to a place in your life where you're willing to just stop doing it your way and surrender fully to the Lord. His way is so much better, and it truly is freeing. I think people get scared when they think of recovery or they think of surrendering everything to the Lord, because we want to hold on to those things, to our anger, to our bitterness, to our addictions. And that's the enemy. We get comfortable in our sin or in our feelings, and the Lord just wants to take them from us, and he wants to fill us with his peace and his love. And it's truly freedom. That's freedom.
Well, and when you found out,
Yeah, except I'm big on that. Then he not so nice. I'm just saying, the smiley hop. Yeah, he likes to play a little game there on Tyrone. Excuse me.
out this news when this horrible event happened, and it made national news immediately. So I can't emphasize this enough for people who don't understand. When there's a trauma, losing a child is the most traumatic thing that can happen to somebody. Having it be a murder, then having it be a national news story, there's so many layers of that. And here you are, your face, and I can't speak for you, but hearing this story, it's very moving, because as an individual who already is having these struggles, you're faced with a couple of different options, and you ran the other way, sort of, back deeper into these issues, but then you find Jesus in this jail cell. You talked about peace, you talked about forgiveness. Let's talk about the forgiveness piece, because here you have a situation where a person is claiming they're before this plea deal that they're innocent. You're not being given reasons. How have you dealt with forgiveness? How have you gotten to a place of forgiving somebody who hasn't asked for that forgiveness?
Because it's not for them. It's I'm sure he could probably care less if I forgive him. For him. Forgiveness, the Lord asks us to forgive, and he does that so that we don't have to hold on to that bitterness and that anger and that hate, because it will destroy you. And it truly was destroying me. it doesn't excuse what he did in any way. It doesn't excuse his actions. What it does is it releases me from that bondage of bitterness and anger and hatred.
Yeah.
That is not of the Lord. That's how the enemy wins. The enemy wins when we hold on to those things. Because he got you.
The enemy also wins when you stop questioning things. And that's what you did, Mom. Because once they pegged Brian and we saw, okay, this is the person that they feel did this, we're going to go to trial. All of a sudden now, in your mind, you thought, okay, this is the straight line now. This is a straight line. We have this person. And then what happened was you stopped questioning what you said in the beginning. And so what happened was you started ignoring your own instincts. That's what happened. Because in the beginning, your instincts were 100% correct, in my opinion. But then once we got the straight line, once we got the lone wolf, we organized our mind around that, and it made things a whole lot easier. But then the problem was you stopped questioning this. And those questions you had in the very beginning, they didn't go away. Those questions still exist in this case. They didn't go away just because they pegged Brian for this. Those questions still remain. So I'm just saying.
Got you right where he wants you at that point. So
just saying.
To forgive that's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And I promise you, it was nothing in me. It was all Jesus. I knew I had to surrender that. I knew I had to in order to begin healing and to be forgiven of my sins.
Yeah. Yeah, the measure of how we forgive others, when the Bible talks...
He'd be like, hey, Cara, were you a confidential informant? just wondering.
About being judged by that same measure. That's very convicting and very scary to think about, because a lot of times we don't forgive people. And when you're in a position like you have been in, your life has been totally changed on so many different levels. And it's incredibly moving to hear you talk about your faith. What do you want people to know about your daughter? Because I feel like when these events happen,
yes,
it's headlines in media and people are being fed certain pieces of information and not the full story. And you lose the humanity of the person and the victims in the midst of that.
True.
What do you want people to know about her and who she was and what
this is what I like to hone in on. How do we describe our daughter? How do we describe them? So I want to, we heard her before in the first interview. How does she describe Xana now that she's sober, clean, whatever, in recovery, whatever? Let's hear this. I always like to hear this part, okay?
What she meant to you.
Xana was amazing. Anybody who knew her can see that. Even people who didn't know her can see that. She lit up a room.
Here we go.
She was funny. She could make you laugh.
Everybody funny. You funny too.
She had a way of making everybody around her feel important and special.
What?
She was a true gift from the Lord from day one.
Yeah.
She loved her siblings
and
her family.
Okay. That's good.
She was just a great girl. And
great girl. Big smile.
She would have done amazing things.
Okay. And
she's missed terribly.
Okay, I'm sure she is. She's course. But what is it about her?
Telling her more how much she meant to me. I regret not being present in her life more.
True.
But I know that the Lord holds her now, and I know I have that hope of seeing her again. And I know she's safe in His arms now. too soon.
Absolutely.
But I know where she is. And that's the
Absolutely.
best comfort that I have.
Oh my God.
You know, when you think about
Wow.
the moment that you in your jail cell
Oh my
accepted the
God.
Lord
Oh my
and what
God.
came next for you,
That's what I'm
because
saying, guys. They don't know how to describe their own fucking children. We hear this again in all of them, right? Descriptions of all of them. They lit up a room when they walked in the room. They had a big smile. They made people smile. Everything's a smile. They had, right, the cute bunny noses. But again and again and again, what was it intrinsically about them? Who gives a fuck if they walked in a room and lit the fucking room up? That's not what we're talking. That's not. Oh my God. That's why I hone in on it. It frustrates me so much. It's like, how about this? How about this? She was so into biology. Oh my God, she loved studying biology. That was one of her favorite subjects. She was so interested in learning how other species worked, and she'd be able to talk to you about it all day. Or man, she really loved to read these in-depth novels about different people, and she was intellectually curious, and and she was a great cook. She loved to cook, and she loved to make breakfast. She made the best pancakes in the world. I mean, if you ever tried any of her pancakes, oh my God, these are the best things you'd ever eat, right? Or she was so generous that she would spend her weekends volunteering down at the local homeless shelter and giving out meals to the homeless population. I mean, that's how generous she was with her time and her energy. Yeah. She would like to if she didn't talk to her family, she would always try to keep in contact with her family at least once a week, just to check in to see how everybody was doing. That's how family oriented she was, right? She dreamt about having kids one day. She talked all the time about wanting to have 2 kids, or at least 2 kids. Man, and she loved Ethan. Man, she talked all the time about Ethan and how wonderful a guy he was, and how special he treated her. Right? Now, do you get a better picture of Xana now? Versus, man, when she walked into the room, she lit the room. She had a big smile. She made everybody else smile. And that's it. But that's how they describe that's how each of them are described by their families. It's fucking appalling. It's appalling. What is it about them that I can understand? Oh yes, that is Xana. That is who Xana was. Or oh yes, that's Kaylee. Oh, that makes sense. I can understand who Kaylee was. None of it. None of it here. Not through Cara. Not through Steve G. the Mutt, not through Olivia the Mutt's daughter, not through any of them, not through the Chapins at all. His color at birth was blue. Great. Well, that's fantastic. Okay. And he was 6'4". Well, that's great. He's a big guy. And he liked to sing country music. Well, that's lovely. But, okay, that doesn't tell me anything about him as a person, really. Not inside. Everybody's like that. Maybe, look, I'm nitpicking. I'm being maybe hypercritical here. But I hope guys, you're my guard. But you understand that point, though. What was unique about them? And they can't do it. They can't do it, guys. It's really sad and it's sickening. It's fucking sick and sad, these people. These people make me sick. Maybe not Cara, she's mild. She's mild to me in my anger.
Because here you are.
Anyway.
A lot of people would not do any interviews. They wouldn't speak out. They wouldn't share. And that would be understandable. You're sharing very openly not only the most traumatic event that has happened to you, your love for your daughter, and you're sharing your own journey, which is not easy to share. What has led you to be willing to do that and to so openly share that moment you had in the jail cell all the way through to this faith journey that you've been on now?
Jesus. Because people need to know that it is possible with Jesus to overcome addiction. The worst circumstances, and I'm proof of that. If I can just help one person see that no matter what you're going through, no matter what, it doesn't matter what your circumstances are, the Lord will, He will redeem you. He will break all those strongholds if you allow Him to. If you just surrender to Him. If you just give it to Him, He will walk you through anything. I used to think that wasn't possible. I would hear stories of people having radical changes in their life. And I used to think that's just never going to happen to me. I just thought it was like a fairy tale. But when it did, in the darkest time in my life, after my daughter had been murdered, and then I'm sitting in a jail, and I mean, life just couldn't get any worse at that point for me. I was so broken, and how the Lord can take you when you're so broken and make you whole again. So that's just what I want to share. I just want to share that with the world. And it is hard. It's not something that, this platform isn't something anybody ever asks for or wants. But if I can share Jesus with others through it, then that's what makes it worth it. Because I just want others to know how much Christ loves them. He's not a respecter of persons. It's not just for me. He can do this for anybody, no matter what your circumstances are. So that's what I would like people to know.
Well, I want to thank you for sharing, because I didn't know that we would go into so much depth in your story, and I'm really glad that we did. I think you're incredibly brave on so many levels. I think it's incredibly difficult to change your life, but anything is possible with Jesus. And just as you're saying, it is so true. It's incredibly difficult to forgive. Anything is possible with Jesus, especially when you've gone through what you have gone through. And you getting on here and sharing your story and being so vulnerable so that you can help other people. There are people out there listening or watching right now, whether it's them or it's a relative, a loved one, a friend, who are going through what you were. I just thank you for sharing about your daughter. And, I guess the final thing I will ask you, what is next now? Because this plea deal is there, this opportunity for peace. What's next in your life when it comes to this chapter? Is this chapter now closed? Do you move forward? What happens next for you and your family?
Well, I pray for restoration in my family. Number one. Also, I just want to share, I want to keep sharing my story, Xana's story, because it's so profound what Christ is doing. And He's not done yet. He will be glorified in all of this. And I believe in a lot of ways He already is. So if I can just keep sharing what the Lord has done in my life, so that I can help others who are caught in bondage of addiction or bitterness or unforgiveness or any of those things that we hold on to, that keep us from Christ. And I just want to help people get to know who their Savior is. If I can
love
just
that.
point them to
Yeah.
Christ.
Well, I love that. And you're doing a beautiful job of doing that by sharing your story. I appreciate you joining us today.